This is CD number 9, Savages. What's the inspiration for the title?
The Savages title come from the idea. It's a little bit about mankind and our human condition right now as we go to the future with technology, Facebook, mission to Mars. At the same time, the paradox is that we are still killing each other, decapitating heads, blowing up marathons, chemical gassing people. So the idea that we are still savages, and I thought Savages was a really strong, powerful one name only. I like titles, albums with one title, one name, and I've done that my whole career, and I thought Savages was really a powerful word, and with a good story behind, with a good concept behind the title.
This is the first album with your son, Zion, on drums. What does he bring to the band?
Zion brings a lot of energy. He's really young. He's 20 years old, and he joined Soulfly. We went to South America, and he did a great job. Everything sounded better when we play with him, and it was like a shot of energy into the band, and it was really cool. And then I decided to give him a shot and give him the whole record and try to do the whole record. We have already scheduled the recording with Terry Date in Seattle, and Terry Date's a master, great producer, and the combination of Terry with all his experience and knowledge and the energy and youth of Zion made it Savages be a great record. I think that combination of professionalism, wisdom, and youth and energy, the combination of those factors made Savages very powerful.
And this is the fourth time that you've worked with Terry Date. And do you have any favorite Terry Date CDs? I know he's worked with a lot of bands.
Yeah, he's done some amazing CDs. I really love the Metal Church CD that he did. It was great. I love the Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger. That was a great record. Of course, Pantera. He did 4 Pantera's record, I believe, and the Deftones material also is a great. Around the Fur is the record I'm on it, and that's when I met Terry, and it was really great. He's a really, really great guy, and yeah, he just brings the best. I think he's got the best drum sound in metal. His drum sound is unbelievable, and overall, he's just a very nice guy, just a rocker in the heart. He really loves rock, metal, and it's very pleasant to work with. I had a great time in the studio, and I would love to work with Terry again. You
have a few guests on the new album, including Mitch from Napalm Death, Neil from Clutch, and also you have a new cat, the Jamie Hanks of I Declare War. Are you pretty in tune with the newer bands at all?
Yeah, I try to keep up. I try to discover new bands and get in touch with them and trade shirts and whatnot. And that's how I discover I Declare War. I really love them. They're very heavy, very brutal. They're part of this kind of new scene with bands like Oceano and Acacia Strain and Psychoroptic and Beneath the Massacre, Thy Art is Murder. I listen to a lot of that stuff, so I really like to stay in tune with what's going on, and I love to take some of those bands on tour. I think it'd be great. I think we're gonna try to get I Declare War on tour next year. I think that'd be amazing.
Have you is there any plans to re-record any of the old Soulfly albums?
Re-record them? Not really. We kind of leave the albums be the way they are. I mean, some of them become classics through the years. It has happened with stuff like Primitive, Prophecy, Soulfly 1. Some of those songs are real classic nowadays, and it's cool to see a song that was just a song on a record become such a big stamp when you play live. Stuff like Eye for an Eye, that we close the show with, get everybody singing Eye for an Eye. And we play Prophecy, everybody sings the chorus of Prophecy. Primitive, everybody sings Primitive. And I think same is gonna happen with Savages. I think Bloodshed is gonna be a classic song one day, years from now. When we play Bloodshed, it will be a classic song. So I think it's cool to just, in every record, have a couple of songs that stands out and become classics.
And you spent your whole career pretty much on Roadrunner Records. Was there, on your last record, dealing with Roadrunner Records, was it sort of like a graveyard, or was there a weird atmosphere there?
Yeah, it changed a lot. They got rid of a lot of people that worked for the label, and there was a lot of good people, and that I worked my whole life with, and that was sad. That really sucked. And the label got bought up by Warner, and it was really, it is the name Roadrunner, but it's really owned by Warner, and it's all more corporate now, and not the same spirit of metal that it was in the 90s. And that's why we went to Nuclear Blast, which is a label that has that metal spirit. The employers, they love metal. The people that work in the label, the owner of the label is a metalhead, and is a big fan of my work. And so it's a good place to be. I think Nuclear Blast today reminds me of the Roadrunner in the 90s, when we had Sepultura, Slipknot, Fear Factory, Biohazard. It was when the label was powerful. Seeing Nuclear Blast today reminds me of that.
Do you have any experiences you care to share with any of the old thrashers from this area, such as maybe Paul Baloff from Exodus, or Jeff Becerra from Possessed?
Yeah, we were on tour with Sepultura back in 89 and 90. I think it was probably Beneath the Remains tour with Fate or Fear. It was a band, thrash band from East Coast. And Paul Baloff jumped in our bus and rode from here to LA with us, partying like an animal. That guy knew how to party. Sure. He knew how to party. He was a fun dude. He was awesome. He was going to be very missed. And he did shots with spoke Russian. I didn't know he was Russian, and he started talking Russian. We was like, what the hell is going on? And we're doing shots of vodka. We end up riding the bus all the way to LA with him with us, and he just arrived in LA, stayed for the show, and then took a bus back after the show. Jeff Becerra, our bass player, Tony, plays with Possessed from time to time, so he just did a couple shows with them. I met Jeff like a year ago in a Soulfly show, and it was great to meet him in person finally, and it was awesome. I'm really glad that he's still going and still playing, and Possessed still doing stuff. Actually, I thought of having him in one of the future records as a guest, so that might happen one day.
And just a few more questions. I know you share some songwriting credits with both Tony Campos and Neil from Clutch. What's the process in letting them write some lyrics?
Yeah, the lyrics, it's really, I like writing lyrics, but I also like sharing with other people that are writing. I think it's really cool, especially when I do stuff with Tony, like El Come Gente. It started on the last record, Enslaved. We did Plata o Plomo, which is the story of Pablo Escobar, the big warlord, drug lord. And we did it together, and it was really fun. And I did my parts in Portuguese. Tony did his parts in Spanish. He sings in Spanish in his side band Assassino with Dino from Fear Factory. And we decided to do it again. So we did El Come Gente, which is the story of Vargas. He's a Venezuelan cannibal from the 80s that ate like 10 people, and he's in a mental hospital these days, got caught, and he's in a madhouse. And just a great song. It was really fun. And New wrote amazing lyrics for Ayatollah of Rock and Roll, which is one of my favorite songs on the album. It's very different. It's very, the beginning is very Clutch-like. I found a riff that sounded like Clutch, and which gave me the idea to ask for New to sing, to do that kind of Soulfly Clutch connection, but I wanted New to write his own lyrics, and he did, and it's great. He does some amazing, especially on the talking part, both talking parts at the beginning and in the end of the song. The talking part that he came up with was just unreal, really, really cool stuff.
Have you? Everybody, a lot of people always ask you about, Sepultura, getting back together with Sepultura. I'm sure to you it's probably just blah, blah, blah. But have you ever thought possibly going out as Sepultura with you and your brother, being that, with them there's half of them, with you there's half of you? Is that how likely is that could happen?
We could probably do it, and you'd probably get away with it, I just never really thought that much about it. I mean, we have Cavalera Conspiracy, which is really the closest thing to a Sepultura reunion that people can get. And I love working with Igor. He's my brother. We start working together as kids. We start playing music together as kids. We formed Sepultura. I gave the band the name, and yeah, it was, we're going to make another record in January. Recorded in Phoenix, new Cavalera Conspiracy, third record. Should be really great, really powerful. I'm planning to be a really brutal record, and I want Igor to play fast a lot. I love when he plays fast, so we're going to have a lot of fast songs. And so I think, but maybe in the future, I thought we could do something like playing the entire Arise and Chaos AD in one night, and call it something like Arise in Chaos or Chaos Arising, and do both records from beginning to the end. I think that would be a really cool thing to do.
And as far as your gear, your amps and your guitars, has much changed over the years, and what are you using now?
Not much change. I'm still using ESP guitars. I'm endorsed by ESP. They're a great company. They made the custom-made guitars that I use, camouflage, a lot of camo. I'm a big fan of camo, as you can see. I wear camo all day long, and it's my official gear. It's been since the mid-'80s. So ESP does my guitars. I have two Boss pedals, Auto Wah and a flanger that I use from time to time in a couple parts of the songs. And we use PV amplification, PV amps, and different kind of heads, different PV heads, but mostly PV stuff is what we use.
And finally, do you have any final things to say to people that might be watching this?
Just thank you for the support. Go get a copy of Savages, rock out, keep watching Capital Chaos TV, and keep it metal, everybody out there. Max Cavalera, peace out.